Hi everyone, it's Jo Carter here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the magical species tag. This is a very old tag. I think it's about 4 years old, but it sounded really interesting, so I'm going to be doing it. I've also just spent 10 minutes trying to fluff up my hair and be happy with it because it's flat and I'm not happy, so I'm going to try some volumizing shampoo. This tag was created by Jolie's Books, but I can no longer find her channel. I try and click on the original link of the video that's in multiple people's descriptions and I can't find it. The first creature that you talk about is a demon, which is find a book that you think should go back to the drawing board. I am going to pick The Fate of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This is the third book in the Tearling trilogy. I think it should go back to the drawing board because of the ending, and even though this book is engaging because I like Erica Johansson's writing, even without the ending, it still wasn't as engaging as the first one. So I feel like there's potential here, it just wasn't used. The next creature is Angel, which is find a book that brought you pure happiness. I am picking Outlander by Diana Gabaldon for this one. Even though there are some red flags that point towards having an abusive relationship between Jamie and Claire, at the time my eyes were pretty shut in terms of that, and I just found this one really engagement and pure fluff and romance, and it will always, nostalgia reasons, hold that in my heart, though I would like to reread it with my eyes open to see how many red flags are in this book. The next creature is Zombie, and the prompt for that is find a book that took you a long time to read. I actually don't own this book anymore because it took me so long, but that would have to be Factotum, which is the third book in the Munster-Blood Tattoo trilogy by D.M. Cornish. That book took me about 2 years to read. It was something that I should have DNF'd, but that was back when I wasn't DNFing, so I pushed through this ginormous 600 plus page book and really didn't enjoy it at all. If you can hear annoying noise in the background, that's my dog attacking a chew toy. Creature number 4 is a siren, and the prompt for that is find a book that reeled you in only to kill you. This book again is something that I don't own, so it's the fourth book in the Dollenganger series, which is the Flowers in the Attic series, and the fourth book really upset me towards the end because they killed off a main character just right in the end. That really drove me nuts, and it was the main reason why I thought their family had hope and they decided to kill them. So thanks for getting me to read that 4-part series that has so many heartbreaking moments and then killing off my favourite person. Number 5 is Nightmares. Find a book that gave you bad dreams or nightmares. Again, I don't own this one, but that would be Misery by Stephen King. It didn't actually give me bad dreams or nightmares because I can't think of a book that did, but the reason why I picked this one is that I just recently moved into our new house while reading it, and so there was a bit of time where I spent alone if my partner was out, and I kept on imagining that the crazy main character lady who's locked up the guy was going to be around every corner, and it was kind of frightening being in a place that I wasn't used to being in. Creature number 6 is Vampire. Find a book that sucked the life out of you while reading it. I'm going to pick A Column of Fire by Ken Follett, mainly because it just took such a long time, but I didn't really understand why. Even though it wasn't a book that made me want to die or stop reading it, it was just something that took so long that I didn't really know why, and I didn't really understand it until sort of towards the end when I read someone else's review about it. Creature 7 is A Shadow Hunter. Find a book that is your favourite of all time. No prizes. I'm guessing that Jolie must have enjoyed Cassandra Clare's stories by calling Shadowhunter the favourite ones, and that is The Last Hours by Minette Walters. In previous videos, if you've seen them, I don't really like to name favourites, but if I had to pick a favourite, and doing more tag videos, I'm getting a bit better at calling things my favourite, I would have to say The Last Hours is. There was a toss-up between this one and another of Ken Follett's books, but simply because Ken Follett's books are so large that they're not easy to read, and even the one that I really enjoyed, which was called World Without End, took me about a month to read, whereas this, The Last Hours, took me only about 2 weeks to read. So I think being my favourite and being something that I would reread, it would definitely be The Last Hours, because I think the rereadability is really easy considering that it's a smaller book. Creature 8 is Immortal, like moi. Find a book that was mundane / just okay. That would have to be Resurrection by Skullduggery, no, not by Skullduggery, he wishes. Resurrection by Derek Landy, which is the first book in the revival of the Skullduggery Pleasant series, but I think overall it's book 13. I really love the Skullduggery series, and I was excited to see that it was being revived, but after reading Resurrection I was a bit skeptical because it just didn't feel as engaging as the original series does, though I was starting to slow down on my love of the series towards the last books in the original series. So this one was just okay. I continued with the series, but it wasn't as amazing as one would have hoped. Creature 9, Witch, find a book that was magical. For this one, I'm going to pick The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This one I call magical. Not that other books aren't sort of magical and fun, but I feel like this one really enchanted me because I didn't realize how much I was loving it until the last probably 50 pages. It sort of crept up on me how much I enjoyed it, probably because I read it over such a short period of time, just a day I'm pretty sure. And obviously it was good enough for me to be able to stand to have read it through a day, but it really snuck up on me how much it enchanted me, and that's what makes it feel kind of magical for me. And then the final creature, number 10, Fairy, find a book that wasn't what it seems. And for that, I'm going to pick A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, which is the first book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. This wasn't what it seemed because 1, the TV show was really big, and 2, everyone had made it seem like it was going to be this bloody gory mess. To begin with, it was kind of like meeting a rock star who I'd heard a lot about, but I didn't really know much about myself because I hadn't watched the TV show, but it was really popular by the time that I started reading this book, and I just didn't really know what it was about at all. I kind of understood that it was kings and queens, but I guess I just didn't really expect to be as close to the characters as I am when I'm reading these. So it was a really odd experience to be finally experiencing this thing that everybody was talking about, and it was just really different to what I expected. But also, everyone had talked about how bloody and murderous this TV show is, and I just didn't think that this was super, like it's brutal, but I guess I expected more deaths and more deaths that meant something to me. There is a main character in here who does die, but I didn't really sort of care for that main character, so that was, you know, score 1 for me. I just mean that even though a lot of people die, it's not really like a lot of people that we care about die, at least not yet, but I'm like up to part 2 of the 3rd book, so when are we gonna start seeing this? It just sort of feels like a lot of side characters die and they just don't mean as much to me, so the deaths aren't as impactful. So there we have it, a revival of the Magical Creatures book tag. But thanks everybody so much for watching this one, and I'll chat to you guys again soon. Bye!